Hello, everybody. It is your baby boomer, Kitty Lane from the Peninsula in Virginia, back with another Create and Relate. I finally learned how to control the volume before the live starts. I am so happy to see everyone here and welcome in again on this beautiful Thursday. Hey, sis, how are you? I can tell you since you're here, it has been a grueling couple of days, and we have some more grunt work to put in, a lot more grunt work to put in, but we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. Um, the subscriber number is still at 469, and I'm grateful. The viewing hours have finally tipped over 1,700. It is 1,705 viewing hours as of this morning. So I'm truly grateful about that. We're well on our way to that 3,000, y'all. Y'all forgive me, I got on a summer dress in the wintertime. It is 39 degrees outside, and it feels like it's 90 in here. Oops, I'm showing. Okay. So in the wet, well, I told you the temperature part. It is very sunny. Yesterday was kind of rainy, but today is very sunny. I have my little space set up. I have come to another conclusion. Oh God, these random calls. Um, I'm changing up my crocheting a little bit. What I'm going to do, because yesterday I found myself kind of bouncing all over the place. I'm setting up whips per week kind of thing. And each day I will dedicate my main time to the particular whip for that day. I have this week's starting with today up here. And what I'm working on is, guys, this beautiful square that I found that I will be sharing with you on the channel soon, like probably within the next couple of weeks. But this square in the middle, and all it has for a name of the square is silent, but it's not that. It's it's one of those silent crochet channels. It's Minin, I believe, Minan or Minin. I forget. But hello, Marcia. How are you? But that's who designed the square, and it's absolutely beautiful. I fell in love with it. They don't show you the end product at the beginning of the video, and I was using the time of the video to crochet. That's how I get a lot of my crocheting done. I put on so many minutes and then I crochet. And Joan said, "We are." Yes, sis, we are up. But when I put on the amount of time, I started taking notice of what was shaping up here. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is absolutely beautiful. This is absolutely amazing. So I worked it up. I fell in love with it. Hello, have you seen one? I have. I have, and I can't wait. I'm sorry, Carolyn, how are you? Welcome in. First of all, I have seen it. It is absolutely beautiful. I do know that I want to work that up into a blanket. I do. But get myself together here. I know you all remember this blanket. This is that granny square blanket that I was making for my grandson. That's one side. That's the other side. Okay. So my grandson had picked colors to here, which made it a very small blanket. I took it out from there. He then picked the color gray, and then he picked sea turtle green. And I was like, it's still kind of small. So I added the blue, and then I added the gray, and then I added some more blue. And then I added his sea turtle, but it's still not quite big enough. I laid down and put it over me, and it will cover like my feet to right at my pit level. So for him, it would probably come up to like shoulder level on him. They're very tall. My grandkids are very tall. He's 7. Yeah. And very close to 5 feet. My granddaughter is 10. And I think she's like 4'10", if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. They're very tall. So I don't know if you can see all the components here. Each of the 3 rows that I've added, I did something different with those rows or rounds. I like the gray. I like the gray. I call it the sleigh. This one right here, I had fun with too, because I did the crisscrosses at the beginning, but in the middle, I made like that little fan thingamajigger. There go with the thingamajigger, and then the green. I think the green was probably the simplest of them. And then I turned into a granny with the white. My next color from here is black, and I'm going to let that be it for right now. Um, I'm going to let that be it for right now, but I'm leaving it open to adding. I'm not going to put, say, a border on it because I want to increase it as needed. My granddaughter has a rainbow blanket that I made, and I left it the same way. I wanted to be able to add to it as they grew, so that one day it would be a king size blanket if they wanted it to be. Yes, I love that for them. So back to the square that I was doing last night. What I'm doing is, as I'm completing, you know about this bucket. Get in there. You know about my little ball bucket. And that's as I complete things. I like the blue too, sis. But as I complete things and I have the little balls, I just wind them up and throw them in here. If it's more than the little balls, then I've created this box games in it. That's why I'm trying to keep everything simple so that I don't outgrow the space that I have. I'm pulling from other sources to make sure I get those scraps used as well. And yes, I am working on several blankets at a time. I got them all lined up here. My main focus today is this one. This is going to turn into a queen size blanket, and it's for the Stitcher Hood challenge, or the Stitcher Hood queen size blanket. Not necessarily a challenge, but I think I got Lori down below in the Camille. It was Camille's idea. But when I'm thinking fast and on the fly, Lori's the first one that comes to mind. So I have her down there, LOL Kitty, that square. Mr. One's going to be. I know that's right. I know that's right. Um, yeah. So I'm going to work that up to that. I looked at my list of things that I wanted to complete this month, and there is a blanket up there that I wanted to make that I had forgotten all about, which is why I write things down. And I'm so glad I did, because there were a couple of blankets that I had started that I didn't, they were going to be like gift bag blankets. But I'm like, it's the 15th today. And even though I know I could make, um, I know that I could make a blanket in that time, I have so many other blankets that I'm working on that I want to make sure I have the proper time. So what I'm going to do is take one of those blankets and create the blanket that I was thinking of. So I told you about that. I got notes kind of everywhere, guys. Okay. Whew. Cuppa Whaaa. So what am I sipping on? We know your girl got the water. We know we got the water. And y'all, today I am sipping on Hawaiian Punch. Yes. Hey, how about a nice Hawaiian Punch? Sure. You get 7 kinds of fruit in Hawaiian Punch. 7 kinds of fruit in Hawaiian Punch. Y'all know about that commercial? Hawaiian Punch is made with 7 kinds of fruit for a one-of-a-kind fruit taste. I remember that commercial. I do. Guys, I don't think I have a 3 people listed in my check them out box this time. But if you want to go back to other videos and find other content creators, I strongly urge. I forgot what Sam changed her name into, but I think at the moment, if I think about it, if I can remember, I will go back and put it in the description box as well. But that's by Hook or by Needle, formerly known as. Please don't forget to check out Naughty Artistic Granny, Setta's Place, VJ, Ola Joe. Oh my God, the list could go on forever. Juan and Chris, and I can't remember. I think the guy's name is Leviticus, if I'm not mistaken. He's a young crocheter, not uh, hmm, new to the craft of crochet. Um, and his journey is amazing. There are so many. There are so many. Don't limit yourself to one. There are lots out here. Like I think it's called Menon's Art, which is where I got the square from. When you keep your mind open and check out other things, you can run into some beautiful work, guys. You can run into some beautiful work. And YouTube streets are just like anywhere else you go. There's the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent. It's everywhere you go. It's a part of life. Okay, so we know that Thursday is Curiosities Day. But this time, instead of the normal questions, got a little, not yet, sis. Not yet. I will definitely let y'all know when I get it. I'm hoping it'll be here by Saturday, being that it's set up Saturday, and I'll have that to show. I can do all of that in one. Um, so I decided to set up today like a little trivia. I got to do this fast because all the answers are there on that page. And this was inspired by my grandbabies. So first of all, I want to ask you, and this is all about the Disney Princess Disney Princess movies series. Okay? So I'll start off asking you, of the Disney princesses, which one is not in the normal list of princesses? But her movie was created in Disney, and she is a princess. Give everybody time to answer. One more time. One more time. Give me just a little bit more time. All I need. You are, no, you're right. You're a queen. You're a queen, sis. Yes, you are. Okay, the movie that I'm speaking of is Frozen. The princess, of course, is Princess Elsa. Yay! Okay, so what was the first Disney movie of the Princess series? All of these are the Princess series. So which one was the first to be released? Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Which one was the first of the Princess series Disney movies to be released? Okay, it was Snow White. Snow White. Snow White was released in 1937. Okay, so within a 3-year period, what year was Aladdin released? I remember Snow White. I can't forget Snow White. It was the first book my mom bought me that I remember reading on my own, and it horrified me. And I think that's where it's a little out of the 3-year realm, but you're not far off, Carolyn. It's not 98. It's a little younger than that. But yeah, Snow White horrified me when they were talking about the Wicked Witch. And I could just envision this in my mind. Of course, the book had pictures, and the way she looked in the pictures, and it was, and I think that's where I developed my love of horror, because along with being horrified, I was intrigued. I was fascinated. I it was the what next factor to me. Okay, the year that Aladdin came out was actually 1992. 1992. Now, there was a Disney movie that came out in 1998. Can you tell me which one that was? 6 years later than Aladdin. Can anybody tell me? Okay, that movie was Mulan. I don't know if that one did that great. Um, I watched it. I've seen it a few. I think I've seen all of them at least 3 times. I went pulling up all this information last night, and I was like, "Oh, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that one. Ooh." But yeah, I've seen all of these at least 3 times, with or without the grandkids. Okay, there are 13. There are 13 Disney movies listed in the Princess series. Of those 13, how many of them have sequels? Just throw a number out there. You know it's 13 movies. How many have sequels? Not all, not 7. It's somewhere between that. There's somewhere between 7 and all. Nine, that's closer. 12 of them have sequels. 12. The only one that doesn't is Brave. Even though I keep looking at the TV and I'm like, I declare I've seen a sequel to that, but I think I'm getting it mixed up with Tangle because both the young ladies, it was about the hair. And what I'm going to do is list these 13 movies for you. And then we're going to talk about the main characters of a few of them. So we have Snow White, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, all released before 1960. We have The Little Mermaid, the only one released in 1980s. Didn't give the specific year. Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Pocahontas, and Mulan, all released in the 1990s. Princess and the Frog and Tangled, released in the 2000s series or years. Tangled, Brave, and Moana, released in the 2010s. And then you have Raya and the Last Dragon in 2021. And as I said, the one not listed in the series, and I really think it should be there because it is Disney and she is a princess, is Frozen with Elsa. That was released in 2013. Now, of these that I've mentioned, which one do you think took the longest to make? I'll tell you. Frozen actually took the longest to make. Frozen took 70 years. 70 years. That's 7 decades. 3 score and a decade to make Frozen. And of course, the princess in that movie, like I said, was the Snow Queen herself. And that's where it came from. It came from the Snow Queen. Yeah, exactly. 7-0. It actually came from a writing by Hans Christian Andersen called The Snow Queen. And I'm thinking that might be the only reason it was not listed in the Walt Disney Princesses because it came from Hans Christian Andersen. I don't know. I'm going to have to try to find that out. I don't understand why it's not in that list if Disney put it out. The second longest after that has somewhat of a specific date is Tangled. It took 14 years to make Tangled, and then it took 9 years to make Sleeping Beauty. Yep, the rest of them are 6 years and under, from 6 years down to 2 years. One was very non-specific. The Little Mermaid, it just says that it took several years. Okay, so which movie had the supporting character of Prince Adam? Which princess had Prince Adam? And what was the name of that movie? A little hint, she didn't become a princess until after they were married. Of course. Meaning she wasn't born into royalty. Guess, 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 guess. Guess, 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 guess. You can do it, you can do it, you can do it. You can do it, you can do it, you can do it. Let's see if I can give another clue. Uh, she was from a single parent home, and her parent was considered crazy by the town locals. Ring any bell? I'm trying to take everybody back to their kitty years. Yes, this is fun for me. So y'all get to delve into my mind and see where I go on my little mental excursions. Prince Adam was actually the Beast in Beauty and the Beast, and Belle became his princess. It took 4 years to make that movie, and it was released in 1991. Okay, let's bring it up a little bit closer. So, this one should be good. Which movie had Prince Christoph? Prince Christoph. That's good Hawaiian punch. My daughter said, it's too sweet. It's too sweet. I'm like, no, it's good. It's good. Okay, let me see if I can. Hmm. Christoph fell in love. Hmm. Let me see. There was one thing about this princess that everybody loved, but that's not what Christoph fell in love with about her. It was something totally different. Another clue, it's easy to get this character's name confused with another cartoon character, but the other cartoon character was of the opposite sex, but the two names can get confusing. Okay, the movie is Tangled. The princess was Rapunzel. It can be confused with Rumpelstiltskin, and it was Prince Christoph. Everyone loved Rapunzel for her hair, the strength and the beauty of her hair, and the life-giving qualities. But Christoph fell in love with her natural beauty and her strength. Okie dokie. Which princess born into royalty? Hold on, because it's a couple of them if I put that question out there. One, Okay. You can give me one of two, either one. Felt the need to save her people. It's actually three. Felt the need to save her people. Set out on a quest to save her people. Think about it. Not Beauty and the Beast. Belle set out to save her father. Her father was captured by the beast and was meant to be turned into a slave, and Belle took his place. And because Gustav wanted Belle for himself, he told everybody that Belle's father was crazy, and everybody followed Gustav and whatever Gustav said. And I might be getting his name wrong, guys. And the reason I'm getting his name wrong is I didn't like him. I didn't like him at all. But yeah, she wanted to save her dad. But there are three on this list that literally set out on quests to save their people, their environment. Mhm. Okay. The first one that I thought about when I started saying it was Moana. She wanted to save the island and her people. She wanted to find a new island, wanted to see what was beyond the reef. Can y'all tell I have looked at these movies? You are so funny. Oh my goodness, Mr. I love you, you love me. We're a happy family. With a great big hug and a kiss from me to you. Won't you say you love me too? And then there was Mulan. Hello, Hadija. How are you, my love? But then there was Mulan. Mulan wanted to fight in the war to save her village. Um, but they wouldn't let her fight because she was a girl. So she had to become a cross dresser to be able to fight, disguise herself as a man to be able to fight. And then there was Raya. Now, I don't know, I don't remember a lot about Raya except the secret of the last dragon and how she set out to save her people or her village from destruction using the last dragon. Now, another one that could be considered in that category, today's topic is Disney princesses. Yes, it's Disney princesses. But another one that could fall into that category was Pocahontas. You know, because of the destruction that the that was to come to her people. But yeah. Now, one on this list I can tell you that I don't know a whole lot about. I've seen the movie several, several times, but that's Sleeping Beauty. And I did not look it up, but I was thinking of other, stories and things that I came up with as, or that I remember as a child. Who remembers The Princess and the Pea? Did she ever have a movie? I remember reading the book and I remember seeing little skits and things on TV, but I don't remember a Disney movie. of her, and I don't remember her name, but I do know she was a princess, and that they stacked all of these mattresses. And no, it was not Sesame. Well, Sesame Street talked about it in one of their episodes, but I don't remember the whole. I don't remember that being a Disney movie, and I don't remember why it didn't, as a Disney movie. Why wouldn't they take that on? Okay. So we know that, excuse me, most of these had sequels. Which one? I don't remember what the release date was. I think they have a release date coming up very soon. Can you tell me which one that is? Of the ones that we spoke of, we spoke of 14 of them. Can you tell me which one is supposed to be coming out? No, I'm not giving away clues. Eileen, how are you? And no, it's not Roy Rogers. It's Frozen. They are coming out with Frozen 3. They just came out with Moana 2 not too long ago. Um, I don't know, guys. I don't know, guys. And I want to know if you all feel the same way I feel about this. Sequels to me are generally not as good as the original. Now, there are a couple that I think can really uh, stand on their own as, a whole separate movie. But like Aladdin, there are, I don't remember the name of them, but there are three movies for Aladdin. I know the one of them has to do with Jafar, but there's one about the 40 thieves. That one could stand on its own. It may not be as interesting as Aladdin to some people like me, but the movie itself could stand on its own. I think that's one thing that I look for when I'm looking at sequels. I'm looking to see if the movie itself can stand on its own. Now, Frozen 2 came close. It came really close. One thing I wanted to go back to when I talked about Prince Kristoff in Tangled, one of the supporting characters in Frozen is Kristoff. That's why I kept accenting Prince Kristoff. Prince Kristoff. So I'll run through these one more time, and this time I'll tell you the princess and the prince. Snow White took 3 to 4 years to make, and of course there was Snow White. They don't specify a prince. Cinderella took 6 years to make, and there was Cinderella and Prince Charming. Oh. And then there was The Little Mermaid with Ariel and Eric. Beauty and the Beast with Belle and Prince Adam. Aladdin took 2 to 3 years to make Jasmine and Aladdin. Pocahontas, 5 years to make Pocahontas and John Smith or John Rolfe. Mulan, 5 years to make Mulan and Li Shang. Princess and the Frog, 3 years to make Tiana and Prince Naveen. Tangled took 14 years to make with Rapunzel and Kristoff. Brave took 6 years to make with Merida. Moana took 5 years to make with Moana and Maui. And Raya and the Last Dragon took 3 years to make with Raya. And of course, like I said, Frozen was in there, which was released in 2013 with Elsa. And it took 70 years to make. 70 years to make. Yes, absolutely. And there was another one that I thought of, and no, it wasn't Jack and the Beanstalk. Um, and I should have pinned it right then when I was thinking about it. Oh my goodness. Mulan, Princess, and the Frog, Tangle, Brave. Oh, there was another one, and I can't remember. I'll try to think about it. It's just the mama who told her son to take that cow to the market and sell it so they could put some food on their table. And he met a trickster, a scammer on the way. John, I'm not with you. I am not with you right now. But yeah, yeah. I just thought that was a little fun something for us to do, guys. Real quick review about the crocheting. The grandson's blanket, it's not quite finished. Yesterday was the day that I dedicated to it. So I was able to get 369 rows done. Of course, you know, the bigger these squares get, the more input you have to put into these rounds. Could it have been more rounds? It could have been. But y'all, right now, we are going through a series of, we're searching, we're searching. So, it's okay. It was just a little fun something to do, Hadisha. My grandkids came in the room the other night and they were asking me, Grandma, what year was this made? Grandma, what year was that made? And I just thought it was, I was like, that would be something fun to do. So I just thought I'd throw that out there with you guys. So I am still with the 9 squares for the carpenter's wheel blanket. I am with the other corner to corner blanket. I'm still working with these 2 squares. And I'm still working with my thermal half double crochet squares. And guys, all of these are like really great stash busting ideas. This one, I am. And you know, it's funny that you say that, Hadisha, because uh, when my daughter gets tricked up on something, her significant other said to her the other day, why don't you Google it? She said, I am, and came straight to me. And he was like, I said, Google it. She said, Mama is Google. Y'all, if I'm ever trying to find anything, if it's something that I don't know, I'm looking it up. I will research. Don't put something, don't put a post up that's not true, because I will fact check it in a heartbeat. I do. I'm all about the facts. I'm all about learning. I'm all about knowing. Not that I want to be a know-it-all. I just want to be in the know. I want to know what I know, you know, and I want to understand things so that people can't pull the wool over my eyes. Wait a minute. People can't pull the wool over my eyes. Sorry. You know, so yeah, I try to do that. That's for my, you know, not only not only for my knowing, but for my protection as well. I encourage everybody, if it's something you don't know, look into it, deep dive. Don't be afraid, because ultimately you have to be able to take care of you. And I'm not saying that, you know, not have your strong support system around you. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if your support system is not around you and you're in a moment where you have to think for yourself, you have to do for yourself, you have to be in existence for yourself, arm yourself. Arm yourself. Know everything you can. Don't go, and you know how I feel about health advocacy. Don't go to a doctor and let a doctor tell you, and I'm fighting my doctors right now behind this. Now, something else I hadn't told y'all. I have a cyst on my left thigh that has been there for years. And I have fought doctors to look into it, look into it, look into it. Well, last year, it became irritated and it caused a problem. And now everybody's running around trying to figure out what this is and doing all kinds of tests and all this other things. You know, when I told y'all about it 15 years ago, oh, it's nothing. Every now and then we get these things, yada, yada, yada. And again, 14 years ago and 13 years ago and so forth and so on, then everybody wanted to be dismissive. And now we're at a point where everybody's confused and they don't know. If they had looked into it when I asked them to look into it last year, quite possibly didn't have to happen. It would have been gone. So I showed you those. I didn't show you these. This one is the crop circles that I'm doing. And that's for my monthly blanket. This is the blanket of the month. I still have the two more that I started. Now, as to when they're on the list, the carpenter's wheel, the yellow and red, that's on the list for tomorrow. The monthly square challenge was the one I just showed you. That's for Saturday. Sunday is the thermal squares. Monday is the corner to corner squares. Tuesday is the salsa blanket. That's the one that I did not show you today. So this one, I'll be working on this one on Tuesday. I'm going to have to spray and block this one. And then, of course, Pete's blanket, the one that I showed you from the very beginning. Yes. That's a good question. I missed something. I'm reading through the big dollar sign that they got up here. I didn't see it. What is that, Hadijah? Okay. 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 It's the autocorrect. That's what it is. It doesn't work right. Or we have, yes, 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 they are. But we have to fight for that because, you know, what I'm constantly telling people, no one knows you better than you know you. And no one can explain. Um, you just said a Bobby. That's what you did. I get it now. Huge Supernatural fan here. Yes, I got it. I got it. But I tell people all the time that you, nobody knows you better than you know you. Nobody can fight for you harder than you fight for you. The one thing that that I have not said to everybody, and haven't been so profound with it, is when you get your support system, make sure that there is at least one person in that support system that knows everything you need, everything you want, and everything, where everything goes, how it's to be dispersed, everything. That is a conversation that you need to have as soon as you become an adult. In today's times, and It has always been. Tomorrow is not promised to any of us. You have us, Hadijah. You have us. You do. Email me. We all need humor. We all need humor. That I think that's what gets me through most of my days. These past couple of days, we have been on the telephone a lot looking for resources. And it's funny because we're in a situation where if we could hold everything off for a couple of weeks, we'd be fine because things have fallen into place, but they don't start until a couple of weeks from now. But to feel that padding and to keep things from going awry, these people want their stuff now, and we won't have it until then. We're straight after that. But there's that little gap in there, that little 2 week gap in there where, the assistance or the help is needed in every aspect. So it's on the phone, and these people are saying, well, we can only do this for that. And then we had one to reach out to us that would have covered one thing. And they said, we can only offer you this amount, but we can't see where this will get you out of, your situation. So we can't help you. I'm like, it will cover this. And all we would have to worry about is this. You're not the only organization that we've reached out to. So why? I didn't get it. I didn't get it at all. But I digress. I don't know how they do their screening, and it is what it is. I appreciate them getting back to me, so I don't have to sit here and continue to wait on them. We can move forth and go on to the next. But like I said, we if we don't fight, if we sit back and just let the doctors tell us, oh, well, this is what you need, a lot of us are just going to cease to exist. I had a situation a few years ago where the doctor put me on a certain type of medication that I should not have been put on. But because this medication worked so well on her husband, she wanted me to try it. Well, first of all, I was given a list at the hospital. I had been taking it about a month, and I noticed I got up one day and my whole left side was numb. So I go to the emergency room. The doctor's asking me to list my medications. I do. And when I got to that one, he was like, hold up, hold up. So you're on this medication and this medication and this medication. Yeah, he said, so you have high blood pressure. Yeah, you have asthma, you have a heart condition. So he's listing these things, and he gives me this printout, and it says people who should not be taking this medication. If you are a female, if you're on blood pressure medication, if you have high blood pressure itself, because there's some people who are on the medication who don't actually have it, it's used to fight something else. Uh, if you have a heart condition, if you have asthma, it's like it was a list of 30 items that people who should not be on this medication. And I clicked the first 9 right off the bat. So I took this to the doctor and I said, you trying to off me? What are we doing? And I presented the list and I said, those red check marks, that's me. I fall into those categories. So why was I even introduced to this medication? Oh, well, my husband, and I'm not your husband. I'm not him. I'm not him. So She asked for the medication back, and I told her I couldn't give it to her because I flushed every last one of them down the toilet. I didn't even want to accidentally stick my hand in the jar. I felt like it was going to bleed through my skin. That's another thing I want to tell you about. Please, when they give you these information packets about your medication, read them or have someone read it to you. Sometimes they're written in medical terms. Find somebody who has the patience to break it down for you. Yes, yes. But find somebody to break it down for you, because I take a medication right now that if you touch it, it will affect you. I take a fluid pill, and sometimes my daughter, well, at one point, my daughter used to bring me the medication, and she realized that every time she bought me that medication, she was running back and forth to the bathroom. And upon reading up on it, it can be absorbed through the skin. So we don't, she just brings me the bottle now and dumps it in my hand. I refuse to read any of those leaflets unless I develop something, but that's because we have. I understand. I do understand. I do understand. In that case, I don't know. That's hard. Based off of a previous statement, I wanted you to see if you could find someone who could read it and translate it better, like not necessarily list the symptoms, but to I'll tell a lot of people what I was too, Adesha. For a brief time, I did it and realized that I couldn't. I couldn't. I have the heart to help the world and wish I could save the world, but I get too attached. And in that realm, you have to maintain a sense of self. I am very empathic, and I tend to take on the cares, worries, concerns, pains, hurts of others. So I find myself in stressful situations, sometimes that are not mine, and being a nurse, you have to be clear headed. You have to remain clear headed. You can't walk into one situation bringing another situation with you. And see, my experience was in a nursing home, and it was, yeah, it was really hard. And I think the straw that broke the camel's back was the day we lost Mr. Watson. When I walked into that room that morning and I told the head nurse what was about to happen and was ignored, and he was ignored for hours. When I say hours, trust and believe, by the time they finally went in there and got him, he was still with us. When I went into the room, he was close. He was very close. By the time they went in the room to check on him, rigor mortis had started setting in. He was my first room that morning. So when I walked into his room, it was 7:01. By the time they went and checked on him, I was getting ready to clock out. I was getting ready to clock out at 4:58. Let that sit with you for a little while. And I'm not saying everybody can, be super person and check on everything at one time. But when somebody brings certain concerns to you, you need to learn to prioritize. And being the head nurse, that responsibility is expected of you. If somebody tells you, hey, we're losing, then you need to, being a nurse would be difficult and working at a nursing home would say, yeah, and I didn't allow it to. I left before that could happen. I left before that could happen. But I'm grateful for my experience because it allowed me 6 years to take care of my mother. And I'm grateful for that. And I think with some of the things that I'm going through, with the knowledge that I have, I'm able to go through it a little differently. You know, I don't just lay down and succumb to these things. And it also helps me to do what I do, to reach out and tell people, hey, you need to do this. You need to do that. You need to, speak up, make yourself heard. And I look at a lot of things that give advice that can be shared. Like, if you feel intimidated by your doctor, ask them to have a seat. Or you stand up, put yourselves on the same level, because lots of times there is this complex that some doctors get, that when they're standing over you, they're above you, and they will talk to you that way and they will treat you that way. And sometimes you have to literally stand up for yourself and let them know, so and so, you put your drawers on one leg at a time, just like everybody else. We're equals. You just happen to have some alphabets behind your name that I don't have behind mine. But I use a knife, fork, and spoon just like you. I was not raised in the jungle by hyenas. So we're going to talk to each other like human beings. Sometimes you got to put your foot down and make that happen. And this is what I try to relay to people. And if there is no other journal in the world that you keep, everybody, I don't care how good you feel, you need to keep a health journal. You need to know everything that is going on in your life every day. So when 10 years from now, you're in the hospital having blackout spells and they ask you, when did this start? It started in 1997. This started in blah, 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 blah. And since that time, what has happened? It really didn't happen again until, it's being on the medical end and being here. It is frustrating when someone comes to you and say, "Oh my God, this happened years ago." Oh my God, because if you give them as much information as possible, they can track things better. They can set your healing and future up better when you say, this specific time I started, this is what has been done, or it didn't happen again, so we just let it ride. Okay, well, as a result, this has happened, or as a result of letting it ride, I've been put on this medication, this medication, this medication, when something along the way could have triggered what happened umpteen years ago and caused this to start all over again, or created something else. You have to know your own medical history. When an insurance company drops you and they switch you to another company, your records do not go with them. Doctors' offices, being that they're all set up in these different sections now, you got Centera, you got Optima, you got Obacy, you have all of these, the regionals, you have all of these little things, and they don't, when you go to your portal on your computer to check your records and things like that, they don't cross each other. Things that were done at this regional hospital don't jive with what was done at Centera. They don't jive with what was done through Optima. They don't jive through, everything does not come together. So you have to, and ours is Bon Secours, Centera, and the regionals. But they and then GenCare. No, I forgot GenCare. GenCare is in the space all by itself. And everybody's putting everything into the computer, but these computers don't talk to each other. Why, I don't know. Because sometimes when they refer you to these other agencies, it's agencies within without or outside of their little community. And you're expected to follow up with these people, but they don't have a history as to who you are. And I think a lot of that, guys, I have so many ideas. Like when you call places and you have to give up so much of your identity, but it's for your protection and to keep you safe. Hell no. If I got to tell you every single time you call or every single time I call my name, my date of birth, confirm my address, and we know caller ID has the phone number covered. But if and the last four of my social, this information is out here in the ether by now. And then you have to do it so many times within a phone call. You make the phone call to an automated system. They want to confirm who you are so that they can send you to the right department. And then you get to that apartment and you're talking to another automated system who wants to confirm the same information. And then they transfer you to either another automated system or a person. Either way, you're going to talk to 5, 6 different people, and they're all going to want that same information. If you got it at the first stop, that should be it. I've given you everything you need. I don't need to tell you who I am anymore. We are in a computerized world now. This information should be able to go from one to the other. But if it's for my safety and my protection, then why do I feel so violated? Why is it that I have to keep such a safeguard on the 13 cents that's in my bank account? The last time my account was hacked, y'all, they went in my account, and the first time they withdrew a penny. I'm sorry, let me go back. The first 9 times they withdrew a penny. And then they went back and tried to get 11 cents. But at the time, I had 10 cents in my account. My whole check goes towards rent and bill. My whole, in its entirety. So, yeah. And I blame the computer. I blame the system. There it is. I blame the system. We put so much of ourselves, and God knows, don't let it be a new doctor's office that you're going to, because in the very fine print, and you're doing this, you pre-check-in, which I don't do anymore, because in that fine print, it lets you know that if you don't check this box that says you approve or you agree, you acknowledge and agree to all of this stuff, then you can't proceed with the pre-check-in. And part of that you're acknowledging and agreeing to is that your information is going to be sold to a third party. And then what happens? All day long, you're getting spam calls. Based on the doctor's office where you were, or the facility where you were, you start getting phone calls. Your information is there. I, for the life of me, do not understand why every day I have to clear at least 60 spam calls out of my phone. This is every day. This is every day. I finally got them to stop calling me on Sundays. But other than that, it is every day. At least 60. Guys, I have gone over time, and I do apologize for that. I want you guys to remember to love yourselves. Love yourself above all, because you can't give others the love they deserve unless you first love yourself. And never forget that I love you as well. Until we see each other again on these YouTube streets, keep the passion, y'all. Peace out.